Today we're talking about what happens in a criminal trial during the closing submissions and the verdict. If you're involved in a criminal case in court and claim trial to challenge or contest the charges, the trial will move into the final stage after the prosecution and defence have each had their turn to present their own evidence in support of their respective cases. This is the stage for the closing submissions to be presented and the court to issue its verdict, meaning the judgment and decision by the court. At the end of the trial, you and the prosecutor will be given the opportunity to make closing submissions. The purpose of this is to let the parties summarize the evidence and arguments to persuade and convince the judge to decide the case in their favour. You'll be asked to make your closing submissions first, followed by the prosecution. If you need more time to prepare your closing submissions, you can ask the judge for some time. If you cannot remember what was said at trial, you can apply for a copy of the notes of evidence or the transcripts of the trial via the court's Crime Registry. The notes of evidence is a word-for-word transcript of what has been said by the different people and witnesses in court, and is very useful for you to refer to. Important things to take note of during this process include the fact that you should focus on the relevant issues and explain to the judge why he should believe you. You can highlight the weaknesses of the evidence presented by the other side, meaning the prosecution, and explain why you should not be found guilty. You'll be allowed to talk about all the evidence given at the trial, and this includes referring to documents, photographs, videos, materials that have been put into evidence, but you cannot bring up new evidence at this stage. At the very end of the process, after closing submissions and arguments have already been presented and reviewed by the judge, the court will make his decision on the case and announce the decision in a judgment. If you are acquitted, meaning found not guilty, the trial process comes to an end and your involvement in the case has finished. If you are convicted, meaning that you are found guilty, the case will then proceed to mitigation and sentencing, where the judge will then have to decide how you'll be punished. If you disagree with the decision and the judgment of both sentence and the conviction, you can file an appeal within 14 calendar days from the announcement of the sentence and decision. So, there you have it, some very basic information about what happens in the criminal trial during the final closing submission stage and when the verdict is delivered.